We're live on a Friday. How terribly unusual. It's the last Friday of the month. That's why we're live. Hello, good morning. And he said good afternoon. I'm so confused. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. That's how it goes. Are you well? I'm going to try and find you on here. Turn the volume down. Captain Small has been watching Octonauts on here this morning because apparently sleep is for the weak. So, that's all I'm saying.
I agree.
I'm not alone. I've got the fabulous Sarah Payne here with me today. Sarah Payne, quilter.
Yes.
Because that's what you do. Award-winning author, general all-round good gal. That's what I like to say. She's here. It's been a year since you were here. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
That's nuts, that is. I'm just going to check that we are... Where are we? Where are we in my videos? It'll come up in a minute.
You're making sure we're not talking to ourselves.
Do you know what? Having been told by a 2-year-old that you talk too much, mummy. I can't remember if that little gem was before or after she threw my phone in the bath. Full bath. I'm amazed. And then I didn't have any rice. You're going to put it in rice, aren't you?
Apparently that doesn't work.
Well, I don't know. I could only find couscous, and I'm like, oh, it's a bit small. Is couscous going to go into all of those little bits and bobs? I don't know. Anyway, I'm amazed. We're here. This is apparently working. This is working. You're here, which is even better because we're making this today, by the way. You can see half of it. The other half is hiding behind my gold stuff there. You have to say it that way.
I do that in my head every time.
Do you?
Yes, it's not me. I go, hemline gold.
So Inga now, because we write labels for stuff, and if ever there's a fabric that goes with gold, she writes it in shouty capitals and puts an exclamation mark, so we all know that it said gold. I insist. Like, I'm not a very fussy boss, and I don't even like to think of myself as a boss. I just we just all work really nicely together. But there is one thing that I insist upon, and it is that the word gold is said correctly. I don't think it's too much to ask. I just don't.
We're showing our age though, aren't we? Because how many of our younger viewers actually remember?
Any that were alive during the 2012 Olympics.
Oh, well, yes.
Where it was played ad nauseam, I would say. Now then, glasses on. At least these didn't get thrown in the bath. Actually, they could have done with it. A bit grubby. Let's see. Who do we have? We've got Anne and Sally. Good morning. And Kirsty. Hello. She's downloaded the pattern already. She's eager. Elizabeth's here. Good morning. And Hayley and Sarah. Hello. And Liz and Angela. I subscribe to Sarah's blog of the month. I'm a fan of you both. Well, thank you very much.
Who was that?
That is Angela Lloyd Abbott.
Hello, Angela. Thank you.
And Helen, good morning. Looking forward to this. Beverly, good morning. Claire, good morning. Have you managed to get your kids into school? Oh, just such a joy. I ran to the car this morning. Captain Small was awake at 3:30. Morning, says Rona. Hello Jane. Hello Alison. Good morning. Everyone's looking forward to it. Avril, good morning. And Bryony, good morning. And Debbie, hello. And Heidi. I guess if you weren't looking forward to it, you wouldn't bother tuning in. That's the really nice thing about it being my own channel. I don't get any of those messages that go, oh, when's so-and-so presenting and not you? Thanks. And I used to love those ones. Sorry for being me, sorry. Morning Colette, morning Sean, morning Claire. Oh, Adam tells me, stop singing. I don't like this song, then stomps off. Yeah, I'm not winning on the 2-year-old front this morning, I have to say. Alison, Spandau Ballet do have a lot to answer for. You are quite right. But I tell you what, they must be chuckling all the way to the bank every time there's an Olympics or some sort of games or something. The royalties, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Do you know what? I did think about composing something. I can sing and that's about it. And I did think to myself, it will have to have the word gold in or something of that ilk so that every time there's a competition, it's uplifting and they use it for that. Yeah. That was as far as it got.
You thought about it.
I did think about it. And then I thought, no, nobody really needs to hear me sing. I did one musical in London and that was plenty.
I can't hold a tune in a bucket.
Yeah,
But I give it a go.
give it a go.
I give it some welly.
That is all that matters.
I love it. Nobody wants to be anywhere near me when I'm singing, but in the shower I sound incredible.
Freddie's school report just said that he was an enthusiastic singer. My mum was like, oh, he gets that from me then. I was like, yeah. And the can't hold a tune in a bucket bit as well, yeah. Morning. Oh, PT's been on here already. Lovely Sarah Payne is with us. I'd forgotten that you and PT got very drunk together at my birthday party.
Don't know what you mean.
Yeah. You know when you just... I was like, oh, have you two met? Completely forgot. And they're like...
You were busy being the party hostess with the mostest.
No, it was the way you two just giggled and I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble now. Morning, Laurie, how are you? Hi, Audrey. Hi, Heather. Good morning, Isabel from Spain. Amazing. International Natasha makes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Donna, Joanna, Julie, good morning, and Linda, and Pauline, and Leslie. You are in for a treat, let me tell you. Firstly, because I'm not going to be stood here for very much longer, I'm going to hand over to Sarah, who's then just going to take her shoes off and be comfortable. Just be careful in case I've dropped any pins. But she won't do it anyway. This is the joy of social distancing. You don't have to stand anywhere near me.
So you can't tell how short I am.
See? Anybody that is shorter than me is relieved, thanks to social distancing. And what else do I need to know? Oh, yes. No, I am on air. You can't ring me now.
Actually, I've got a younger brother who every time I'm doing a Facebook Live calls me midway through. Just go to my Facebook page.
Yeah, just
have
check
a
in.
look.
Just check in. It's the number of family members that just ring and you're going,
do you know what I do for a job?
yeah. Oh, so you can't talk now? No, really can't. Sorry about that. Soz everyone.
I have a button now that says I'm busy.
Do you?
Yes, it sends them a text.
Oh, I need one of those.
Tells them, I'm sorry, I'm busy, I'll call you back later.
Oh, Margaret says, sorry, I'm late. Cat wanted food. Cats are so demanding.
Oh, but they're lovely.
Oh, yeah, so Sarah's been kitten cuddling.
I have. Can't resist them.
Oh, Elizabeth says it's fun-sized, not short.
That's what it is. I'm perfectly formed. I stopped when I reached perfection. No, nobody believes that, really.
It's a great line, keep using it. It all works. So, we are in for a treat because I'm not even going to open this. I'm going to let you do the honours with the overhead camera.
Oh, okay.
And then you can show everybody. But this is a bit special. We've got some of the original artwork from Sarah's Fat Quarters and her new fabric. Basically, you can get the pattern to make the quilt, which is here. Well, part of it's here. The rest of it's hiding behind gold. And then we've got a fabric bundle. How many fat quarters were in there?
There's 10 fat quarters.
Are they US or UK?
They are US. So
US
they are 55 by... It says on the label. I want to say
18 by
47.
22.
Yeah, basically.
Let's do inches, basically. Yeah. And so you will get how many in this kit?
In the kit, you will get 10 fat quarters, so 2 bundles. There's 2 different colourways.
Right.
So 10 different fat quarters, and there's a metre of the black as well, so that you can do the sashing.
Bargain.
And it makes that quilt, and the remnants you can use for doing the binding. So around the edge, I've used the scrappy.
Binding.
Love a bit of scrappy binding.
I love it. It just pulls everything together, doesn't
It does, especially when it's a very busy quilt with a plain sashing on it.
Is this a bear paw?
It is a bear paw, yes. And actually, in the
paw.
pattern, it does tell you a little bit of the history about it and the other names for it. I think one is called Duck in the Mud.
I like Duck in the Mud.
It's also called the Illinois Turkey
No, forget the turkey.
Train.
Can we go back to the Duck in the Mud?
Duck in the Mud, yeah. So it's got different names for it as well.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yesterday I did an embroidery show. I presented an embroidery show. I did an embroidery. We all know I don't do that. When I grow up, I will do that. Yeah, and she had was it a turkey stitch or something like that?
Yeah. And chicken scratch.
No, it was turkey
Yeah.
stitch or turkey work or something like that. I was obsessed with this stitch. I realised afterwards, like maybe I did get a bit overboard on the old turkey, but you know, I managed to not say turkey based, so I think I did all right. That's all that was happening in my head, and that's the thing. You get stuck with something in your head, And I'm like, don't say it.
It's even worse if you're saying don't say something, don't, because you know you're going to say it.
I'd managed a whole hour without saying turkey baster.
Well done.
Thanks. On that note,
I'm proud of you.
you see, you understand. I'm going over there. I'm still going to read out everybody's messages. We'll do a little.
I go over here.
Yeah, I go round here. We don't go near each other.
And for a while, you have a blank screen in front of you.
Yay! It's Sarah Payne, everybody. I'm giving a round of applause on one leg.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you again, Natasha, for inviting me back.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's been a year.
I mean, we didn't rush, clearly.
I was like, has she fallen out? No, it's just been mad, hasn't it? So
I remember our conversations about whether or not we could even do the first show because had we gone into
yes,
lockdown?
we had.
Were we
were about
into lockdown?
We were 2 weeks in.
Were we?
Yeah, because I had to
memory.
socially distance and I was volunteering, but I didn't do anything in
That's
the 10 days before I came.
Yes, of course. Yes, gosh, it's all come flooding back now. We have managed in between the odd cup of tea.
We have.
And chunk of cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but very limited.
Very limited.
So, yes.
But this is even better.
And meeting in a car park as well, I think.
Never dodgy.
Yeah. But that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But it's a delight to be back, and thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you, and thank you for creating this gorgeous quilt that you cannot get anywhere else for us.
Yes, I have. I've made this exclusively for you.
Thank you.
And for you, obviously. So you and you.
Because obviously you weren't busy enough.
Exactly. No, so what I've done is I have taken my latest fabric range, which is called Birds of Paradise, which has been produced by Craft Cotton Company, and I have made you a quilt with it. It's a 50-inch square quilt, and the fabric bundle that you're able to get from the website includes the 10 fat quarters. So here are the 10 fat quarters.
Have we got these separate? I can't remember what we ended up saying in the end. Did we sell have we got these separately if people wanted to buy
You can have them
extra?
separately. We can have them separately. It's just I've only got the stuff for the kits in my car. But as we know, car parks, midway, it's been known for us to meet in a car park and move boxes from one car to another.
Oh, yes, we have done that, haven't we? Gosh, this isn't sounding too dodgy
and
at
actually
all,
we were
is it?
socially distancing then, so it was like open the boot, step away, open my boot, step away.
No, I know. It was like some sort of weird dance.
It was indeed. But for the kit, you get your 10 fat quarters and you get a metre of the black as well. You'll need about 70 centimetres, so there's an extra bit. I always like to round up just to be on the safe side for the sashing, but you could leave the sashing out if you want to and just do a wider border, and then the remnants of this you use to do the scrappy binding, because I love a bit of scrappy binding.
It is beautiful.
It is my favourite, especially when you've got a plain border. But I thought I'd bring, because I intended to do this actually when I launched my fabric, and I never got round to it. So
Did you
nobody,
not? Oh, well then let's have that
nobody
exclusive
has
then.
seen.
We'll have a bit of that.
So these fabrics were designed during lockdown, and it came not long after my trip to India was cancelled. So I was feeling a little...
You don't want to be in India right now.
No. I was supposed to be there last year.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I was supposed to be there February this year, but it was cancelled last year for obvious reasons. And I was missing the adventure. So I kind of invented this paradise. And that's where the fabrics come from.
Amazing.
So the basic premise is, we've got the bird of paradise. Now I know that isn't an actual bird of paradise. That's the bird of paradise from my head. And that is the original. I made it up.
In my head.
I made it up. There's actually another one in here as well that I
Would you like to go overhead? Bring it in and let's... Oh, nice.
There we go. So this is another one that didn't make the cut.
Oh.
Okay, so I chose that one because the colours... This one, he looked a bit too static, and the other one is more in flight, so he didn't quite make it. Then the roses didn't make it either. So this is how I work when I'm designing my fabric. I've got my notebook and I do paintings, and some make it in, some don't. This is actually one of the not plains, but contrasting. We've got one in each bundle. We've got a dark and we've got a light, and you can see.
Oh, nice.
So I sat there and I painted these little tiny bits. Took me forever to do these, and then somebody suggested I tried it in pen, which was much easier.
Oh.
But you can see how they move straight from my original paintings into fabric.
Into fabric, yeah.
And actually, on my launch show,
that's beautiful.
it's gorgeous, isn't it? On my launch show, one of the design team for Craft Cotton Company made this in a man's shirt, and it
Really?
is stunning,
Oh,
absolutely
wow.
stunning. So, and what have we got? I think the others are towards the back, because then we switch it round. So these are some other bits. Hang on, let's find the right pages. So those are some things that are good, that became appliques.
Right.
But here we go. Oh, I'll turn it up that way.
Oh, nice.
So these are my
leaves.
leaves. So the leaves actually come out, you can see they're in most of those fabrics. So we just open up these, because we can. You can see we've got the bird of paradise.
It's the colours in it. I know John Cole Morgan's already
Yes.
gone crazy for these.
Yes, he said it reminds him of home.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
it
being
reminded me of, I wanted exotic. And you can see just a couple. Oh, and there's my, I love red. Matches my
Really?
outfit, my hair, my car.
everything.
Yes. When you design a fabric to match your car, then you know you've kind of
You've made
overdone
it.
it a bit.
Oh. I was going
So-
for made it, but yeah, you can say overdone it. That's fine.
And then we have
I
the
love
bird.
those flowers.
Yes, the bird of paradise
Oh, yes.
fabric, which, hang on, is in the other bundle.
Was this just a really good excuse to buy yourself some nice flowers?
Why not? I was actually, I painted this from the TV. I was watching
Oh.
Death in Paradise,
Oh, were
and I
you?
paused it.
Do you know what? I love a bit of Death in Paradise.
I was binge watching because it was sunny.
And it's
But-
ridiculously awful, and I really enjoyed the fact that it's really awful.
Oh yeah, it's,
It's yeah. It's my
I love
guilty
it.
pleasure.
I like a good murder,
Me too.
but only the bloodless ones. I don't want to see
Oh
any.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
see any.
No,
Oh,
no, nothing too realistic.
No, nothing
And
squeamish.
if they could be deaded in a nice place, that would
Yes,
also be
yes, and
also be
everybody
good.
recovers really quickly afterwards. So I like that too.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can see here how that became the fabric here, and then obviously I got a little bit. I did the first lot, and then we decided it needed a few extra bits.
Oh,
So that,
oh, look at that.
yes,
Oh, I like that.
and that, basically, you can see how they very much sort of translate directly from one fabric to the
So
other.
when you do this bit, who then puts it into fabric? How do they then? Do
I
you get
work
some
with-
sort
I
of
work-
graphic-y person?
Yes, I work with a graphic-y person at Craft Cotton Company, and
Technical graphic-y
yeah,
person.
graphic-y person. Her name's Vicky, and she is very talented. But we start off, and I send up mood boards. Normally, I go up for a meeting as well, but I send
Nah.
up mood boards, and it's words and things like that. So this time, it's had to be PowerPoint
Right.
mood boards, but images, words, thoughts, feelings, and then I would normally go to like B&Q and get all the paint cards and just sort of take the paint chips up with me as well.
Okay.
I often colour whole sections with my pens or my paints to play around with colour placements. I send them off. We have lots of conversations and things go backwards and forwards, probably for about 4 or 5 months. And it'll be,
Not a quick process.
no,
is it?
it's not a quick process, at all. But there's a lot of, sometimes it comes back and you go, that colour's not quite right. And then eventually they print something called a strike off,
Yeah.
which is basically just a test print.
Yeah.
And I think we had 3 this time because there were little bits that I wasn't quite happy with.
And are you fussy?
I have an idea in my head what I want it to look like. So we discuss things like scale. You know, I know what scale I want those pieces to be because I want them to fit in 5-inch squares or 6-inch squares.
yeah.
You know, there's no point in having a bird that size and then trying to use it in patchwork because you'd only ever get a bit of a bird.
You'd only get a bit of a bird, or you'd
Yes.
just have to make a panel.
Exactly. One day I will do a panel.
With
But then we
bird
have one day. But then we have discussions about what else I want. So can I have, a fabric roll? Can I have? I didn't go for charm packs this time, 5-inch squares. I went for 10-inch.
Oh, nice.
Because I thought the size was
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
So it's sort of we have conversations about all of that. I think that's. Oh, and here we go. So this is where the sort of hibiscus flowers come in. So you can see my blossoms turned into that. And then-
Hang on, let me go over. There
we go.
Nice,
So you
look
can
at
see
that.
that turned into that. And then we have the hibiscus, which I painted. And again, on this one with the blue
Do
background.
you paint in gouache?
I do, yes, I do.
Seems to be the paint of choice for
Yes,
designers.
because you get a nice thickness with it. And actually what I do is I tend to buy myself some new paints for each collection. So I have just bought myself another new set, which came in drawers with an easel on it. Oh, I'm happy bunny. So working on my
beautiful
next
thing.
one.
I love that. Actually, that goes against tax. I'm also thinking that every time you buy yourself flowers, that can now also go against tax.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. Oh no. Absolutely, because it's research.
Yeah.
All of this is research and development. Also goes against tax. Just so
Yes, we it's amazing what has to go for R&D.
Yeah.
In this, but sort of this one came out.
Oh, Ali G used to have bird of paradise flowers in her garden.
Oh wow!
When she lived in New Zealand.
Oh, okay, we'll let her off.
Yeah.
But you can see how the imagery that I'm creating goes directly into these designs, which is really exciting because obviously I've got a picture in my head, and there were a few colours that we put in later and a couple that we dropped because we just didn't feel that they worked.
Yeah.
So it's quite an exciting process, but it is very long.
I don't know that I would be any good at it because when I paint something, I'm like, no, that's it, and it's now perfect.
There you go.
So I'm not sure I'd be very good with people then critiquing it. They're like, no.
Yes, I don't do all of the graphics. They take my images, and actually this last time because this is my third range, the first two, they had the originals of these, but this time because we couldn't travel, we were taking high-res images. But what was amazing, what surprised me from that was, for example, the
I love
leaves.
that one.
Yes.
I love that one. Look at that.
I saw something similar. I saw like a thing with the blue leaves and the red. I can't even remember where. You know when something sort of seeps into your subconscious.
Yeah.
And when I was looking for some leaves, I thought instead of doing them green, because I've already got the big green leaves, let's make them blue.
Let's do
So
it.
these,
Love
when
those
you look
too.
at them in the fabric, you can actually see my brush strokes. Because this is a very soft fabric. It's a very flat key. So it means you can get a really good digital print on it.
Are these
So,
digital then?
I believe they are, but don't quote me on that because in my head I'm pretty sure they were. But yeah, the detail that we're getting into them. These are made in South Korea as well, where all the
Digital stuff.
all the best boys play.
But you have to be really
Bless you.
really careful with what fabric you use
Yes.
for digital, don't you?
When you want this much detail, if you've got any texture in the fabric, it just makes it look fuzzy.
Yeah.
Your images come out fuzzy. But this is so sharp, and I must say, even though this is my third range, when you get your range home for the first time, they send you the strike-offs, and mostly they're just on like odd-shaped pieces, and
Yeah.
they're finished like this. But occasionally you get one with the selvage, and every time I get a new fabric range with my name on the selvage, I have a little cry.
Do you?
I do.
Is it a happy cry?
It is a happy cry. It's a happy cry, and it's a I can't believe how lucky I am cry. Because can you imagine?
Gratitude,
Little me.
lucky crying.
Little me.
Perfect.
So there we go.
Perfect.
That's the fabric. And as I said, there's 10 in the range, which I have now reordered. For everything. They were neatly piled. One is called Birds of Paradise Navy and one is called Birds of Paradise Blue. So I need to have a word with them about, I named it Birds of Paradise, but the navy and the blue. I think it should have been blue and red, but never mind.
So they came up with that one then.
They came up with the navy and the blue.
Now Anne said that this is your best collection to date, Sarah.
Thank you.
Truly gorgeous.
I think, yes, I can feel myself developing as a designer, because the first time I did it, I didn't really know.
Well, you wouldn't know what you were doing.
No, I didn't understand the process, and I think the more you do it, the more you know what to give them. So I'm doing more and more paintings, and I'm used to the idea now that some things won't go in, because when they all come together, or the colours aren't quite.
Yeah.
And I'm used to the idea that it's going to be changed without feeling too offended.
That, you see, that's what I mean. Well,
Yes.
Whereby I'd go, well, that was my picture. It was perfect as it was. What are you
Because
doing?
I think as well, what happens at their end is the whole collection goes before the sales force, because they're talking to clients, they're talking to people every day, and they know their markets.
Right.
And just because I think something is incredible, it doesn't mean that everybody else is.
Yeah, but you know your market
But I do
too.
have to. I do make sure, like my last range had black background in it, and they weren't sure about the black, and I put my foot down.
Did you?
I did.
In one of your
gently.
very pretty shoes.
Yes,
Yeah,
lovely,
good.
delicate, clod-hopping feet down. But no, I put my foot down delicately and said, I really believe in the black background. And actually, it was the one that sold the most.
There you go.
It was black with delicate little flowers on it, because a lot of people are afraid of black as a fabric because they think it's too heavy, whereas I think black as a fabric is very underrated because it makes everything else around it pop. It's like putting white behind something, or black.
And white just isn't always practical. Julie says, love the hibiscus, one of my favourites. I think this is it. You have hit upon a lot of people's favourite florals. Claire says that she lived in the Oman for 8 years. Hibiscus flowers were everywhere.
Oh,
Very
I can
hardy
imagine
flowers.
the smell. It must have smelled amazing.
Yeah. Oh, Alison's agreeing that it's your best one to date. Oh, Kirsty loves Death in Paradise as well. There is a grisly murder, then the happy theme tune kicks in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Chris Marshall.
Oh, now you see Phoebe in California says, not lucky, more like talented. See, this is the thing, isn't it? It's one of those things that the harder I work, the luckier I become.
Yes, and actually that is a very good point, because somebody once said to me that you might do 10 things that give you one opportunity. If you do 10 things in a year, that's one opportunity in a year. If you do 10 things in a week, that's one opportunity a week. So you make yourself lucky.
Of course you do.
And also, because obviously I did a book as well.
Well, hang on. Which you're in the middle of doing your second book?
I am in the middle of, yes, we did photography last week.
First book, the award-winning first book, you know.
Yes. That I am Britain's second favourite sewing book of 2019.
Amazing.
2020.
Were there happy tears for that too?
There were quite a lot. Especially as that book was dedicated to my dad. So, and he did just...
Did he see it?
No, he didn't get to see it, but he did get to see the dedication. So he did get to see my first fabric range when the strike-offs came, because they happened around the same time. But the point with those was I'd wanted to do a book for ages, and I wanted to do fabric ranges, and I just sort of thought, well, somebody's going to come and ask me, because I'm doing the TV, you know, and I'm in the face of a fabric company.
Sarah Payne Quilter TV personality.
Somebody's going to ask me, and they weren't.
Oh.
So I realised that in order to make my dreams a reality, I actually had to tell people that I
that
had
was what
those
you wanted
dreams.
to do. Yeah. No, that
I had
really
to
helped.
approach a publisher. And I approached two publishers on the same day, and they both said yes, which gave me a different problem.
Oh. Now, you see, this is interesting, isn't it? Because I remember having this conversation with you. And
Years ago.
It was years ago. And it was just after I'd had a very similar conversation with Stuart Hillard.
Yeah.
And he had said, it's amazing, those people that come off the bee and expect to be approached.
Yeah.
And those like him who went, right, I'm going to go and find it. And he has found it, and he has done and continues to do incredibly well. But he is a finder of his luck.
Yes, definitely.
And I think that was a lesson.
Do you remember that we went for dinner with, there were like 7 bees?
There was quite a lot
There
of
were quite
wine.
a lot of bees and quite a lot of wine, and me and you. So Stuart was there, and there were, I think, 6 or 7. It was down at the Sewing Bee Live show.
Did we not have cocktails at his
We did.
Hotel first.
Yeah. You see, I had this twin room. He had a suite.
He upgraded himself to a suite, didn't he? He was like, I'm not
He was
sleeping
like, do
there.
you know who I am? And they went, okay. But they were questioning me and Stuart to find out how you can make a living doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, you work harder than you've ever worked in your entire life.
Yeah, you put
Yep.
everything else to one side
Exactly,
and you say
everything.
yes to every opportunity that
Because
comes
you
your
never
way.
know which is the one.
No.
So
Nope.
there we go. Anyway.
Jo will have to catch up this afternoon because she's on a busy walk along the coast path on a beach. Yeah.
Lovely.
She lives, I think this is right, opposite Snowdonia. It's quite stunning.
Lovely. I'm just going to grab my coffee.
Oh, hang on. Phoebe spent a lovely time on the beach today too.
We're just jealous. But
Yes.
the sun is shining here, or it was.
It was.
Yeah, the sun was shining when I was driving over here. It was a beautiful drive over this morning.
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go, you see.
Right.
We do our best. We can't quite bring out a beach. I took the dogs to Western Supermud the other day.
Took them where?
Western Supermud.
Western Supermud.
Supermare.
I used to go there a lot. I grew up in Somerset. We used to go to Western Supermare because you can't see the sea.
No.
When the sea goes out, it's like 20 miles because it's
No.
just mud. You can't get to it because
No.
up to your
You
knees.
sink, yeah.
Yep.
Although my Great Dane didn't know that
Oh dear.
and went chasing birds. She came back looking like a seal, just covered. I was like, oh, that's got to
Yes,
go in
because
the
the other thing you've got to be
car.
careful about is the sea comes in really fast there because
Really
it's so
fast.
flat. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you think, oh, it's sea's miles away, and then suddenly it's at your toes because it's risen 2 inches.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely fine because we had ice cream. So today's quilt, you can
Yes.
grab the instructions
I
and
can
make it out
indeed.
of your own fabric, or you can grab the instructions and then buy the kit, which will make the one behind us.
Yes, I've called it Birds and Bears.
Of course,
Because it's Bird of Paradise fabric and it's bear paw, you know. So
unless you called it Muddy Duck or something.
I should have called it Muddy Duck, and actually at the beginning here I have written so Duck's Foot. That's it. Duck's Foot in the Mud. It's called Hand of Friendship, Tea Leaf Design, or even
Tea leaf?
Tea Leaf. I have no idea. Illinois Turkey Track.
What?
So I think the history of quilting is, I'm absolutely fascinated by.
What's
it.
a turkey track?
I have no idea.
Do they
and
race
why is
them?
it special in Illinois?
Why?
If anybody is over in Illinois right now, can you tell us what's special about a turkey track and why that block would actually look
I think
like?
the person we've got closest is lovely Phoebe in California. Because, you know, at least she's in America.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's closer than we are.
I'm not sure she's closer to Illinois than we are, though, to be fair, because it's quite a long... America's quite wide.
I know. Yeah, but we'd have to get to California first.
We would.
Oh, no, hang on. No,
Illinois
California's the other-
is our side.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Oh,
so-
gosh. Oh, right. My geography is dreadful, so I'm just going to apologise and shut up. Right, what do we need to do now?
Okay, so I'm going to take my shoes off because I meant to do that a minute ago. There you go. Just drop a couple of inches.
So for those that have already bought your fat quarters,
Yes.
what do they need on top of it? Just a...
They will need a metre of the fabric for, so I've used black, but for the sashing.
Okay,
Okay,
so
'cause
we've got black by the half metre.
Yes.
There we go. So,
So-
yeah, Heather, I know you've already got the fat quarters, but you might need the black.
Yes,
Unless
or
you've
you
got
could
that.
do it with white. White would be nice as well.
No.
So,
Phoebe doesn't know about turkey tracks. Disappointing.
well, Phoebe.
I know, come on. You are our American representative right
Yes,
now
we were
today.
relying on you, and
Yeah.
you just, oh dear. But yeah, I find that all fascinating. I've got quite a few books on quilt history, and when I'm writing a pattern, I try and look up, you know, different names for them or where they come from. But these, this particular design has been around since about the 1850s in America. So it's based on the sawtooth, which is those your half square triangles. It's often used as a border as well. So it's just developed that way. So what I'm going to do is in my pattern, because I like to give you options, I've given you 3 methods of
Steady on,
creating.
love.
Sorry?
Steady on.
I know.
3?
Well, that's what my book is about, you see. My book, I do 3 methods for half square triangles. I think I do, was it 2 for half square triangles and 3 for flying geese? Because there are different times where you need different things, because the one I'm going to show you will actually make 8 half square triangles in one go, and for this block we actually need 16.
Oh, so just do that twice.
So we just do it twice.
Perfect.
So I thought I would show you that one. So that's really useful. But I do actually tell you how to cut using your half square triangle rotary cutter, and also the square method where you make 2 in one go.
Awesome.
Because people you might not have a half square triangle ruler. You might want to, not make. You might want to make your sawtooth bits, your half square triangles, all different colours. You could mix them up.
Oh.
So if you
multicoloured bear paw.
Sorry?
Multicoloured bear paw.
Yes, if you are using something with a solid background, so instead of putting you've got your paws as the fabric and the background is solid, you can then mix and match your paws. So you can have the claws being a different colour to the paws. So,
claws and the paws.
Yeah, so there's lots of different things that you can play around with. So, and you'll see in the patterns, I put a lot of pictures in mine because I like to make sure that there's lots of information for you in there. So I'm glad I
will be printing these off for you, so don't worry. Sarah's very apologetic about this. I'm like, it's fine. We've got a beast of a printer. Do not worry. We'll pop it on our lovely card and off it goes.
Yes, brilliant. So if you're wondering when we sell out of the pattern, we don't.
We don't.
So
we
yes.
won't.
Anyway, so I thought what would be fun is to go through and make the block from beginning to end. Now, the way I've designed this, the blocks finish at 14. Once they're sewn into the quilt, they're 14 inches. But we make the blocks at 14.5 inches.
Yes.
Okay. Because there are actually sort of 7 sections. And you can make them smaller, but it's just not worth the complication.
Okay.
So we've got 14.5 inches. And then what also is the case is that you can make 2 blocks out of 2 fat quarters. Okay.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
So if you do want to do the 4x3 version, a longer, thinner one, you just need another fat quarter bundle because you need 12. To do that, and you'll need a little bit more of your background, but you can make them any size you want, as in just keep adding blocks until you get the quilt size that you want to make. I've chosen the 3x3, which gives you a quilt with the sashing and the binding of about 50 inches square. So if you're looking for wadding,
size.
it sits nicely on top of a bed. So if I just show you,
What sort of size bed?
A double bed. So you can see as a topper. Let's hold it that way. As a topper on a double bed, but it's also extra snugly for sofas.
Did Captain Jack enjoy that?
Captain Jack is loving it, yes. HP has enjoyed it this morning as well.
He has enjoyed it this morning.
So
he had to hoof her off.
Yeah, so Captain Jack and Maisie. Captain Jack Archibald Pemberton III.
I mean, it's just a small name for a small cat.
Well, he's a separated at birth. He's an aristocrat. I'm sure he is. He's a cat of breeding. The fact that somebody threw him away in a carrier bag at the back of my house is just because he's got a wicked uncle who's taken over his title, and he's got a whole backstory.
All of that.
Yeah, all of that. So, what I thought we would do is cut the 2 fat quarters. The whole thing, so that you can actually see how to make 2 blocks.
Nice.
When I've done this myself, what I did was I've cut the 2, so you've got the background and you've got the paws, and then instead of just sewing it together twice and having 2 blocks the same colour, I've done that with the other pairs and mixed and matched them.
Right,
okay.
I'm with you, yes.
So rather than having 2 blocks that are pretty much the same. So I have my fat quarters here. I'm just going to square off one edge. And these 2, I have got the Birds of Paradise.
Very nice.
And I've got the hibiscus with the leaves because it's a nice contrast. And I do think when you're working with busy fabrics like these, it's important to get a bit of a contrast in them.
I really like the night sky type ones.
The night sky ones. Oh, what, like this one?
Has that got background? I can't see it from. Hang on.
This one's got.
Let me just go overhead and have a little look.
So we've got that. You see that would work, but then putting that with that.
No,
they're
too
not
close.
different enough.
No.
So we have that one as well, the dark one. So putting that with that is not different enough either.
No.
So just think about that when you are matching them up, because obviously we do have quite a lot of fat quarters. In fact, I've got more than.
Look at you
I've mixed them up now. I've mixed them up. So you know, we've got a lot in there. It's like those two I wouldn't put together because they're too close. All right, so that's just something to bear in mind. You want to mix and match them.
Phoebe says that she's developing a crazy pattern of staying up late sewing, and by the time that she's done, it's time for Natasha makes. And then she gets fantastic ideas for sewing the next night.
Well, why
You
not?
see, that's just it. So you're going to be dreaming of bear paws tonight.
I'm a night owl. I do most of my best thinking when everybody else has gone to bed.
Oh,
Thank goodness for catch-up TV.
right.
Right, so I'm just going to trim up one edge. Now, I do apologise. I have actually hurt my shoulder. So cutting is a little tricky for me. I probably should have left my shoes on because this table's set for you, love, isn't it? It's not set for the shorter among us.
Do you want a box or something?
A box to stand on. Yes, because I have no dignity whatsoever.
Look, I kid you not. One of the Haleys at Hochanda has to actually have a box so that she can see over the top. She's that tiddly tiny, bless her.
Bless.
She's basically got a pallet that has like safety tape around the edge, and they put it on wheels. So then the floor manager has to, it's so glamorous, has to wheel it along behind the set for her, and then she just hops up onto it so she can see above the set. You're not at that stage.
No, but when they do pack shots, sometimes at my place,
so she can see over the pack shots.
It's you just suddenly and and then I stand next to like Dan, which is basically why I started wearing ridiculously high shoes, because it was the only way I could be in the same screen with people. No, that's not true. I'm 5'4", which is average height for a woman in the UK.
Is it?
It is. I'm 5'4" and an eighth.
Yeah.
So as my dad used to say, 5'4" and a fart.
Oh, Gemma calls it 5 foot. Well, I think is Gemma 5 foot and a fag end? I think that's what she calls it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Gemma. I found someone shorter than me. So she
has
perfect.
other attributes rather than being shorter than you. Oh, morning, Lo. Are you back from your travels? Nice to have you with us. Margaret's had a sudden flash. Paws and claws, different colours. That's bears wearing nail varnish. I mean, yeah.
Awesome. How cool would that look? Yeah.
I mean, it's a thought.
It is a thought. It is a thought. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be cutting double the amount, okay? Because I've got 2 fat quarters. I might as well do both at the same time.
Yeah.
You can do, you could cut the background from one. So you could cut the background from that and the front from that. And actually in the pattern, what I've done, there you go. What I've done is I've actually given you a grey and red image. So we're talking about the red, which is the claws, and the grey is the background. And I've also told you, depending on which method for your half square triangles you're using, how much you need to cut.
Okay, because Bryony says I need to make some more 36 to 40 inch lap quilts. How hard would it be to make the blocks at 12 inches? Could she work it out from the pattern?
Probably not, because, but what you could do, the blocks are 14 inches. How big did she say?
12.
28 by, no.
Sorry. So 36 to 40 inch.
You can, if you cut it in half, so you do it 7. So where it says 2.5 inches, you do 1.5 inches. You'll have a 7-inch block finished, 7.5 once you've sewn it all together. But 7 once it's in the quilt. So you could do smaller multiples like that. The thing is, if you're doing, because there are basically, if you look at the pattern, there are 7 sections. So there's 1 section, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't easily divide into 12 inches.
Bryony, the other thing you could do is just not do the sashing and then just put a border around the edge to make it up to your 40 inches. That will give you 28. If you just did 2, it would give you 28. And then with your sashing, 28, 30, 32, that will give you 34. You could do just
2 by 2. So here we go. Just do that.
Oh, hang on.
Sorry.
Bear with me, Corey. We've
bear
just
with.
logged out accidentally somehow. Oh, it's on a slow go today.
Oh.
Where are we?
Technology is fabulous when it works. There we go.
Yeah, right.
So you could do that, which that would come out at 30. So, and then just add a wider border
Perfect.
to take it up. So this one doesn't ease, unless you're working with 7/8 of an inch and things like that, it doesn't easily divide into 12.
Bryony, I think the best thing is to make the blocks the same size and then adjust your sashing.
Yes,
there
exactly.
We go.
That's going to be
solved.
easier. That's going to be easier for you. So anyway, let's crack on. And so I'm going to be cutting all of my bits. So I'm doing the method where we are cutting 8 half square triangles in one go, all right? Which means I need a square. I need a 6-inch square. Actually, I need 4 6-inch squares. Because I'm making life complicated for myself. Hang on. Oh. New rotary
Oh yeah,
cutter.
I know. You're quite excited about this because you've just bought the same ones.
I
haven't you?
have. I've just ordered this for myself,
And they rest.
they
which is
are
nice.
arriving today. Yes, because they go like that, and I really like that. So
Claire says I'm 5'3", so not that short. If the average is 5'4".
exactly,
There
we're
you
not
go.
short. We're just perfectly formed, or we stopped growing when we reached perfection. The fact that my rest of my family, or my brothers at least, my brothers and my dad were well on to 6 foot.
They're just showing off.
But my maternal grandmother was 5 foot, dead on. So
See, my mother-in-law doesn't even make 5 foot.
there you
I
go.
think she's like 4'11" or something. Is
Perfect.
Pam. That's why she's always in a whopping great big pair of heels.
But you see, we have the choice, and people don't get neck ache looking up at us. You know, I think that's a bonus. Right, so my ruler here happens to be 6 inches wide. So we'll just start off, and I'm going to cut 2. And actually, as I said, I need 4. So because I will have another quilt with the colours the other way around.
Oh, okay, right.
So I've got 3 there. Keep this scrap, okay, because those will come in handy. And then I'm just going to cut.
No one throws anything away.
Yes, well,
surely.
also we're using it for the binding, but we
Right.
do need some 2.5-inch squares, and we need some other bits and pieces. So,
Okay.
And you can actually sort of work out how to get the best from your fabric,
Right.
if you want to. I mean, this if you actually cut this at 6.5 wide, and then 6 and trimmed it down. So that first strip I just did.
Yeah.
That would mean that this then ends up at 6.5, which is the size that you need for the inner sashing. So you could be a little bit clever with that if you want to.
All right. You didn't want
I
to.
worried that would confuse me. So I'm just going to cut a square from it.
Hey,
But
Sarah.
some people are a bit more...
Deborah's watching in between work.
Is that my Deborah? Yeah. Hello, Deborah, darling. I say my Deborah. My travel buddy.
I think she'd be happy with you being
She's my side chick.
side chick.
Yeah. Yes, we
like
travel and
that.
get into trouble together.
I don't think you two need
Aw.
to travel to get into trouble.
I wasn't paying attention there. I didn't
What
trim the
you
bottom.
Oh,
There we
look
go.
out.
So now is probably not going to fit because I didn't trim the. I was too busy talking. But yes,
look.
Deborah is the girl that, you know, when I did my book tour at the end of 2019 across America. Well, up and down actually. We went from Texas all the way up to Chicago, and in an RV for 30 days, and we did 3,500 miles, 13 states, and 35 quilt shops. That's what we did. So, okay, I'm going to put those to one side.
Good morning, April.
And then I'm going to grab 2 of those, and we're going to make just the, so that will be for the other colourway. Okay. So that will be for the second one. So now we are just going to make our 16 half square triangles.
We're just going to,
We're just going to
whiz
make
up
16.
a quick 16
So
half square
I've got a
triangles.
pen here. Hang on. Just checking it works. I'm using biro because this is going to be a cut line. but also it helps you to see it.
Do you know what? Half the time I end up using a Sharpie on air so people can see.
Yeah, I have to do that when I'm taking photographs as well, because I can see it, but you can't really say, I can see it.
Yeah. No, 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 no.
So, now, I have seen people make half square triangles, cutting like this method, which makes you 4 half square triangles.
Yes.
I personally, unless you're going to make allowances for your cutting, I would not do it this way, okay?
Oh, okay.
Because when you cut along here, if you think about it, this is going to be the edge of your half square triangles. You know, there is one where people sew around the outside, cut these pieces and open them out. And then what you've got is you've got 4 edges on the bias. So the straight edge of your block is the straight edge of your half square triangle is right through the middle, and that's where you want your bias to be. This means you're then going to struggle to get everything to line up and to sew neatly, because this is well stretchy, and it means the edges of all of
What
your
does it say?
well stretchy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So it is well stretchy. So I would not use that particular method unless you are going to cut your pieces on the bias from your fat quarter bundle. And that means that you're wasting fabric, obviously, because these bits disappear. You might have a pattern. It might look like it's a quick and easy way to do it, but it's really not, because you'll have so much trouble getting all of your blocks to line up. So just top tip there. So what we're actually going to do, and you can do this after you've sewn them, but I might as well do it in one go, is I'm going to go and bisect this way as well. So I'll do the other one. And please don't be offended if you have done the other way and you find it fine and you're going, what is she talking about? It's just, if you're a beginner, if you starch it quite heavily.
That's my go-to.
Yeah.
When I realise that I've cut on the bias, I'm like, right,
Yep,
come
starch
here, spray.
Starch it really, it really helps.
Starch it real good.
But yeah, I think it's a false economy when it comes to time, because you make them quickly, but actually it's harder to sew them together. I did early on in my career as well. I made a quilt that was from somebody else's design, but it was for a magazine that were featuring the pattern, and they needed somebody to make the quilt up. Mm-hmm. So I did. It was for Fabrications magazine years ago, when that was still around, and I had to follow their instructions, and they used that method, and it was an absolute nightmare. I just thought, well, why? Why are we doing that to ourselves? So we come to the sewing machine, and these diagonal lines, I am sewing either side of those diagonal lines. Okay, we're ignoring these straight ones here at the moment, these quadrants, but we're just going to stitch down either side. So I've got my foot at 1/4 inch.
Lo wants to know that if we starch out bums, would it get rid of cellulite? I mean, I'm sure someone's tried it.
Sorry?
Wait, to get wrinkles out.
Oh, okay.
Starch your buttocks.
Starch. I missed that bit. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, you had your head in a sewing machine, so that's
I
right.
did, yes. Have we got a thread cutter on here?
Yes.
Oh yes.
The scissors.
Oh.
Oh yes, darling.
Yeah.
That was my treat to myself. That the next sewing machine that I had would have a thread cutter, and all of mine have now. And I'm a bit
I've just
spoiled.
done the same. I've just bought a very nice machine that has a thread cutter and a foot lift, and it just sews like a dream. The only thing is it's currently too heavy for me to lift up, otherwise I would have brought it with me.
Oh, that's no good. Where was Paul this morning? Couldn't he have done some lifting?
No.
Oh, okay. You say that like just lifting is not going to happen for Paul.
Yeah, it's just sometimes it's not worth waking him up.
Oh, he was asleep. Oh, well, that's fair enough.
Yes. I did leave before 7 a.m. and it just seemed a bit rude.
Yeah.
Right, so here is our first cut. All right, and I'm just going to make some
So we've sewn diagonally.
We have sewn diagonally along those drawn lines.
Right.
I'm just going to give that a quick press. You don't have to press at this point. Also, if you've used a dissolvable pen, don't press before you cut, because your lines will disappear.
No. Yeah.
How many times have we done that? So this is what it started like, and I'll do that second one in a moment. But now we're going to cut along all of those marked lines.
So you've got 1/4 of an inch either side of all those lines.
Either side of just the diagonal lines.
Right.
Okay. Right, so take the diagonal lines out. You can do this with scissors as well. Now, these lines across here that I drew in, we cut as well. So
What?
Yeah.
Craziness.
Because if you think about it, you've got this, and look what we've done. We've not made a half square triangle, we've made a pocket.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to cut that again. So in the instructions, it just says cut your triangle in half again. And I just like to do it all in one go.
Oh, that's clever. I like.
So, oh, it is, isn't it?
Maths had to happen, I'm sure, before you
It
worked
did.
this out. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I've been over generous with it, so you don't have to worry about scant 1/4 of an inch. These will come out slightly bigger than the 2.5 inches we need. But look, there we go. 1,
Nice.
2.
I'm really sorry if you can hear my stomach rumbling. It was a mad school rush this morning to get the kids to school. I had 2 mouthfuls of pesto pasta whilst I was ramming it in their lunch boxes.
Actually, you've done better than me. All I've had is a couple of cups of coffee.
Oh, well, we can get...
But
we
I
can
do
get you
have a
something.
nut bar in the car for the journey.
Oh, steady on. You and your nut bars.
Yeah, I'm not very good at breakfast. I find it difficult to eat when I first get up. I need a sort of hour for everything to wake up.
That's fair enough.
So there we go, and as you can see, I'm just finger pressing them at the moment. We'll go to the iron in a moment.
Nice.
But you can see that's made 8 half square triangles, and as I said, they are slightly big, just about 1/8 of an inch bigger than we need them.
So we're just trimming
So
all
we
back
just trim them down. It's always easier to trim down than it is to go up.
to try and stretch them.
So yes.
There is a rotating cutting mat behind you if you need one.
Oh, okay.
In between, just between the dresser and the gold.
Down there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll probably dig one out in a minute.
Yeah.
So let's
Go
do
for
the other one.
Fiskars one, not the cheap pink one, because it was cheap, and I realise now you buy cheap, buy twice.
Yes, I always invest in good quality. So I'm going to do the same again, because that's
Alrighty.
obviously made 8 and we
Yep.
need 16. Oh, foot down, there we go. So also you can chain piece these. If you want to, you know, you can get a bit of a production run going.
You do that.
Sorry?
You do that. I'm going to climb very skillfully into the corner because the DPD man is coming to collect the Hochanda orders that I managed to do this morning, and I haven't printed off the labels. Sorry, everyone. This is the glamour of TV. Sorry, Sarah. I am listening.
That's all
I'm
right.
multitasking
Okay.
in the corner.
In a moment,
Probably the best
can you go
place
back to
for
the
me.
overhead for me, please?
Yeah. Well, I've got it in my hand, so whenever you're ready, we're all good.
Right, so yes, if you could go back to the thank
Yep,
you.
yes,
Oh, look at
I'm on
you.
it, darling,
You're
I'm on
on
it.
it like a car bonnet.
Yes.
Right.
So apologies for the noises off. Oops. Oh, no,
People
no,
think
no.
we live a glamorous lifestyle, don't they? And we
they don't
really
know.
don't.
They don't know. No. Don't do that. Oh,
Like
now
I was
to
saying to
print
you
off all
earlier,
sorts of stuff.
I've just been off doing photography for my second book, and while I was there, well, on the Friday before I left, before I went down there, they said we need to do your new author photograph,
Oh.
and I just a little bit of me died because I hadn't had a haircut in 6 months.
Oh no.
So and I couldn't
You've
get
just
one.
had a haircut.
I have now. I had
Okay.
it done after I came back.
Oh, okay.
But they only told me on the Friday and I was leaving on the Sunday. and I couldn't get in anywhere.
Oh no, you need to postpone that sort of.
So, well, no, I've had it
that
done
sort of-
already. I was like, oh no, can we Photoshop my bad hair? But yeah, no
I mean,
glamour.
come on, if we can Photoshop anything, it clearly just needs to be bad hair.
Exactly. You know, these things are sent to try us.
Root cam. In fact, do you know what might try me later is trying to take 2 children to the hairdressers with me.
Wow, that
Yeah.
at the same time.
As having
That's
my head.
brave.
Well, I know, but it's the only appointment I could get
Oh,
for a very long time. So needs must and all that.
yep.
So if I'm
And
properly
you have
Peppa
such-
Pigged out by this afternoon.
I was going to say, you have such quiet, unassuming children.
Right.
I can't wait to hear what Captain Small says to the hairdresser.
No. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that at all. Not even remotely, given that she was up at 3:30 this morning. What could possibly go wrong and has a full day at school? I mean, never a problem, right? Never a problem.
Oh, cats
Every
are so much
parent
easier.
will feel my pain. They will, honestly. And it's like when you're in a restaurant and somebody else's child screams and part of you just goes, it's not mine.
I do remember going out for dinner with my family, with my brothers and their partners and children and whatever. And I think it was my dad's 65th birthday. And my nephew, who must have been about 7 or 8 at the time, managed to set fire to the napkins with
Amazing.
the candle on the table.
Yep, thanks.
And I just looked around at this restaurant and I thought, you know what? On this occasion, we are that family.
I can never come back here again.
Exactly. It was like,
Yeah.
right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim them all. You can see there's only about an 1/8 to get rid of using this technique. And because I've cut them nice and straight, I can get away with just trimming off the top corners. So get your ruler. If it's got a diagonal line like this, then just bring it in line with the diagonal on your fabric. So I'm just going to line these up here and here and then just whiz off the 2 pieces. And just, as I said, there are 16 of them. So we have just made, with those couple of lines of stitching, 16 fat quarter, 16 half
nuts,
square
isn't it?
triangles,
That's really nuts.
which is exactly the number that we need.
Ah,
Isn't that fantastic?
perfect.
But as I said, the pattern does tell you how to do it the other way as well. If you just want to do your traditional with a ruler, or if you want to do the 2 square method, where you get 2 of them. Again, with that one, I tend to, because you know you're supposed to add 7/8 of an inch when you're doing the 2 squares. You add 7/8 of an inch to your seam allowance, or as your seam allowance.
Yeah.
I always add 1,
It's just
because
easier,
that
isn't
1/8 of an inch can save you. Because
Just my saviour.
just saying, because there are times where you've sewn it neatly, you've cut it neatly, and then for some reason one end just sort of has got a bit of a wobble on it, and all of a sudden you've not got enough in that corner, and then you have to fudge it. And
No one
let's
wants it.
let's not fudge.
There is only one thing where fudge should be, and that is the sweet shop
Yes.
and in my belly.
Because I think it's a false economy, because you're then trying to catch up with the problem that you created
Yeah.
before. So
So my question to you, Sarah, is
yes,
fudge or tablet?
fudge or tablet.
Yeah, fudge and tablet are quite similar, like proper Scottish tablet.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. It's like tomato ketchup or brown sauce on a bacon sandwich.
Definitely ketchup.
Ketchup, okay.
Definitely
okay.
ketchup. I've never been a fan, and I'm terrified of baked beans, so we won't go there.
You're terrified of baked beans. You don't hang around with my husband too long. He is also
No.
terrified of baked beans.
Paul has to make his own baked beans when we have dinner. Because
what?
I
Yeah.
can't look at them. The tins even. I don't know if I've ever even eaten them. but
See,
they do
Stephen
make me come out in a
used to
sweat.
eat baked beans when he was younger, but he now cannot be. He's like you, can't be in the same room
Yep.
as baked bean.
It's
And
actually, you'd be surprised. There are quite a lot of people. We should start our own support group who have phobias of baked beans. That and buttons is a common one as well. Fortunately, I don't have that.
oh, do you remember?
Yes, Scott.
It was Scott, wasn't it? Yeah, well, there was a floor manager when we were both at Create and Craft.
Yeah, he still has a button phobia.
But his button phobia was the. It wasn't that he was scared of buttons. It was that he had an irrational fear of buttons when they were not being used for button purposes. So like decorative buttons, that used to freak him out.
Funnily enough, he's on Ideal World now. We've just killed him off with all of our, inappropriate use of buttons.
Yeah.
Right, that one's wobbly all the way around.
Your button usage.
Yes. Well, my blog is called Happiness is a Bottomless Button Box.
He would not be buying that then, will he?
I do like a button.
So do I.
I think that's one of the things that first got me into all of this was my grandma's button jar. And actually, when she passed away, I was away, and unfortunately, it just got thrown away.
Oh no!
That was all of her stuff. And she also had a sweet jar. That used to be full of like Werther's Originals kind of sweets.
Like proper granny sweets.
But it was like a brass colour, and it looked like a barrel with a lid on it, and it had like the barrel, and I just loved. She polished it, and then that ended up going somewhere as well.
Do you think they come with your pension book, stuff like that?
I think so. Yes, I think it's like the law. It is the law that you have to have once you reach a certain age. You have to have sucky sweets. In the house at all times, or in the car.
Yeah, they don't last that long, that's the trouble.
Well, I tend to, when we go on a long journey, Paul and I always drive because I'm a control freak. And I always drive. It's just easier if I drive.
You know that, you're comfortable with that, it's all fine.
Yep,
right?
we've got used to that idea, this is why I don't have a team of staff. It's because I'm just a nightmare.
And yet you probably need one.
I do, yes, I do. I am working on it. Yeah, but yeah, when we go drive anywhere, I always have to stop at the beginning of the journey for a bag of sucky sweets. Because my grandma and grandpa always had them in the car. And my grandpa was one of these people who drove with leather driving gloves. He had black leather driving gloves that I always remember. And when I get old, I'm going to get driving gloves.
There used to be a mum that used to collect, I think her name was Lisa. I have a feeling that her name was Lisa. And her mum drove this little yellow Mini. And her mum was always immaculate and always wore white driving gloves. Now, obviously, nobody else's mums ever wore driving gloves. And we all just used to look and just go, what's that all about? We just didn't understand. I still don't really understand what the whole driving glove thing is about. Why would you wear driving gloves?
Well, they just keep your hands nice and
what?
tidy, don't they?
But your hands don't get untidy while you're driving. When do you get out of the car and go, oh gosh, that's really wrecked my hands driving? It doesn't happen, does it?
I'm just clutching at straws.
Well, no, I'm interested.
I don't know. I think it was a very manly thing. Perhaps back in the day when they didn't have much heating in their cars.
That I would understand.
Yes.
That I would understand. I think that this particular child's mother used to do it. She didn't want to get sun blemishes on her hands.
Oh, okay. Yes. Now we think that's probably a little bit scary, lady. Right. So what I'm going to do now is because I've made a mistake. Because I wasn't paying attention. Look. Too busy talking. Now I'm going to cut the paws. So I said I was going to cut 2 lots of paws for both, but I'm actually just going to cut. Actually, no, I will be cutting 2. So I need 4.5 inch squares. And for each block, because as I said, we're cutting 2 blocks at the same time.
Yes.
I will need 4 for one block and 4 for the other. So let's now get our other pieces of fabric. Those are scraps. Organise myself.
Oh, I do like a good scrap.
Sorry?
I do like a good
Oh
scrap.
yes, it's definitely good there. So I'm just trying to work out which is the best way to cut these, because it doesn't matter either way. I am always trying to be conscientious with my fabric. So
Unless you're chatting too much.
sorry,
Unless you're chatting
unless
too
I'm
much.
chatting too much.
In which case it all goes horribly wrong,
But actually,
and I get the blame. It's fine. I'm comfortable with that.
You know that the bee is on at the moment.
Yes. I haven't
And
watched the last episode though, so don't
sorry.
spoil it.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. Well, I've been doing a thing called behind the seams,
Oh, nice.
which is up on Facebook and YouTube. But we're talking about the show after it's been on. But one thing that I think we have to remember is that these people aren't used to doing it on TV. We are, and we still muck it up.
Yeah, no, that is a fair
So
point.
yes.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm just going to cut a 4.5 inch wide strip there. I've trimmed all the way around, so I get 2 more out of this. 4.5. 1. 4.5. You could probably use your Stripology for this, couldn't you?
Always.
Scrap.
In fact, they are back in stock. Hooray! Do you want a
Right.
Stripology?
Sorry?
Do you want one?
Do I want
They're
one?
just
No,
down
it's
in
all
the
right.
corner if you want
No,
one.
it's okay. I'd
Struggle on
I'd have
manfully.
to think about it. So I'm going to take a 4.5 inch wide strip off the bottom here. I'm going to do it right this time. Turn it over so I can see the shortest. And you can see I'm just sort of hacking about, because what I'm left with is this will allow me to get my 6.5 inch wide strips, sorry, my 6.5 inch long strips out of these edges. So I would
okay.
always recommend that if you are cutting 2 at once, hang on. Yep. Less talk, more concentrating. But if you are cutting 2 at once, cut the big pieces first.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you can get, we need 2 inch squares, 2.5 inch squares, and you can get those out of the scraps, the little bits left over. Right. Right, so those are my 4 1-inch pieces. Then I need, so don't worry, as I said, I am doing 2 blocks at the same time. So I will have 2 lots going on here. Then I need 4, I've done 4 inch squares. I need 5, there we go, 5 2.5 inches.
5 2.5 inch.
Yes,
oh,
'cause
squares.
Yes, 2.5 inch squares. Yeah,
So
because
those bits that you miscut, you can just use
Yeah.
for this. Oh,
yeah,
that's all right then.
So as I said, there's one for the front here, and then there are 4 for the corners. But because I'm doubling up on the blocks, I'm mixing and matching. So.
Yeah. So I'm just looking to see where that all is.
Right. So you see these scraps then become useful, and also 2.5 inch wide bits for the binding. So
Oh,
we've got
nice.
one.
Add it in. Yep. You see, John Cole Morgan's here. He says, love 2 blocks at the same time. How I love to work multitasking.
If you have a
the
very
only way
good
stuff gets
rotary
done.
cutter, you can cut 4 blocks, 4 layers on top of each other at the same time. So you'd actually be doing 4 blocks. So you'd be doing the front, the background, and the paws of 4 blocks in one go. But if you're a beginner, I wouldn't suggest that.
Yeah, no, don't.
So I've done
Don't
2
do
of
that.
those. I do also need I'm going to cut everything actually, 2.5 inch by 6.5.
Yes, John, that is the new hemline rotary cutter. Yeah. It's really lightweight, isn't it?
It is. I like that because it's quite light on the hands. And as I said, I have hurt my shoulder.
But
and
it's got like a...
I like this. Well, actually, when you close the blade.
Which kind of
like that.
makes you close the blade.
Yes,
Which
because
is
otherwise-
also good. But it's got a non-slip grip handle.
It has indeed.
Because
yes.
when I first picked it up, I was like, oh, it's so much lighter than my other one. I was really
Yeah.
unsure, but actually I quite like it.
Yeah, I quite like it too. And it's nice to have one that looks different. And actually, I think I like to have things with my my hobby that just look good. You know, why have boring pins when you can have lovely pins?
Well, quite. And if you can have matchy, and the fact that they also do the replacement blades in gold makes me happy.
All right, so I'm doing another 2.5 inch wide strip here. Yes, I was quite pleased to see that stand when I came in, because I was like, oh, I've just ordered some of those and they're arriving today. So it's nice to see what they look like.
Oh, that's what you're going home to.
Okay, so...
Yes, John, you are late, and yes, we have suitably gushed over how divine the fabric range is. And we saw the original artwork. You'll have to watch it back.
We did mention you as well, John.
We did. You've been mentioned. You've had your mention.
Yeah, and you missed it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Soz for that.
So I've got my 4 strips. I've got 2 of my 5 squares, and you see I've got these little bits left over from those 6.5 inch wide, 6.5 inch long pieces. So I'm just going to cut 1, 2.
No, you see, April, lovely April in Australia who watched, she's just ordered your book. So we're shipping your book to Australia, my love. Just so
are you?
Yeah. April, are we going to have to add some of this fabric in?
Now, because I cut incorrectly and I cut that extra square.
Yeah, come on.
I am 1/4 inch short on my final 2-inch square. But I'm not going to make both up. I just want to show you, okay, how this has all worked. But we'll just imagine that I cut it correctly the first time.
No, that's all good. We've got a good imagination.
As I said, I've done 2 blocks. So this is one block that we're going to start laying out. So we have the paws from that fabric. How do I, to get 2, do I move left or right? Hang on, let's move them right slightly. So there we go.
It's as you see it.
And then here's the second block.
Oh, I see what you mean. As in, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
with the bird of paradise flower, are you going to be worrying about?
No.
Which, okay.
No, because I figure.
Nope.
If I was hanging it on the wall, yes.
Right.
If I'm putting it on a bed, it'll be.
You're going to see it from all angles.
Yeah, you're going to look at it all, and I don't worry too much about that. Because, as I said, unless it's going to go on a wall, which you can then put it where you need to. So can you see how I've cut 2 blocks?
Yes.
At the same time.
Nice.
Right. That's going to go there, and that's going to go there.
John says, talking about me, blush. Yeah.
So my half square triangles.
So it's meant to be, so those strips are meant to look longer because you've got to add on the paws.
Because we have here. So now when you're doing your half square triangles together, you see, you want to have them pointing so that you've got your straight edge here against the background square, like that.
Right,
okay?
yep.
So when we sew these together in pairs, 4 of them will be facing the same way, and the other 4 you will sew together that way. Okay, because then it comes around here like that. So let's do some more paws. I'm not going to make up everything of both blocks. You get the gist. And there we go.
Oh, it's quite satisfying. Look at that. I love that pop of red. Isn't that beautiful?
Gorgeous, isn't it? And actually the hibiscus flower turned out to be one that I added after we'd done most of the design work, because it was just, there's something missing. I couldn't work out what it was, but I could feel that there was something missing.
And they're quite happy for you to do that and go, oh, actually, do you know what?
Yes, because it's very much a collaborative process. I'm not sending them pictures and they send me something back and go, there you go.
Right.
You know, we do work quite a lot together.
Okay.
That way around. Right,
This
so
is rather
when we
lovely.
did the half square triangles, obviously these are the half square triangles for that block. I didn't sew all of those together. All
Right.
I did cut them, but I haven't sewn them. And then we go there. So these pieces then will go into the corners when we've got half square triangles. I just want to
Okay.
show you
Yeah.
that's what I mean when I say I'm cutting both sets at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're doing, I don't think you actually want to do direct comparisons. I don't think you want to have, but so I would
put
actually
those to one side and mix them
Yeah.
into another one.
I would
that you've
take
done.
these ones and pop them over there and then pick up two more and mix and match them. And that's actually what I did when I was making it. I took the first two, then took the second one and mixed it with a third one, and then I took the extra bit of the third one and mixed it with a fourth one.
Nice.
So
Very
I've just
nice.
thrown away a square that I
If
need.
you just throw away an integral part.
Yes. There we go. Right, so what I suggest you do when you're constructing this is first of all have it laid out like this because it's very easy to get lost.
Right.
But
there we
work
go.
on a paw at a time. So let's bring the bits over. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take, as I said, when you're sewing your half square triangles together, if you look and we turn them round, one lot slopes to the left and the other one slopes to the right.
Okay.
You need to pay attention to that, and you need to do that 4 times. So let's take our 2 fat quarters.
So you
sorry,
can't
2 half
just
square triangles.
flip them around once you've sewn them.
Yes. So you do half one way and half the other because they need to feed into that centre, into that corner square.
Right.
Right. So you can chain piece them.
Right.
If you want to. It's up to you.
I would be chain piecing all over the place.
I did all 4 sets in one direction. So those. So I would do those and those and those and those because they all face the same way.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
I did the other ones as well.
So don't sort of do 2 going one way, 2 going the other, and then confuse yourself.
Yes. Because when we bring this back...
Oh, hello. I keep
Sorry.
going on the wrong one.
That's
There
all
we
right, I
go.
keep flipping. All right, so we've got that one's going to go there like that. And you see it's the same size as our square, centre square, or our paw. And then that one goes there like that. And that's going to go in the corner. So I'm just going to give these a quick press. Actually, I'm going to tidy up a bit.
Oh, now.
Ah, now, what a mess I've made.
This does my soul good because it's not just me.
Oh, I mean, my studio at the moment, I left it yesterday. It literally looks like a bomb site. There is stuff everywhere. I have just had... Would I be telling secrets if I said I've had 1,000 fat quarter bundles arrive last week?
No.
Imagine where you put that sort of.
No, I do imagine. I know exactly where you have to try
And I
put
wasn't
all of
even
that.
there. The very nice man who runs our building.
Is the best way. The best way is absence.
36 boxes.
Yep. Yep. You see,
So,
I
yeah.
like to tell our delivery drivers, aren't they lucky they won't have to go to the gym tonight?
Well, yeah, exactly.
And they look at me like, are you mad? I wasn't going anyway.
So,
And that's what I tell them.
yeah, exactly. It works on the... And at the moment, I can't lift anything with my right arm. So, you know, great. So these boxes, I had to get a very nice man to put them in my car yesterday. Might have flirted a little bit.
Did you?
Maybe.
Paul's not watching.
He's quite... Yeah. Delivery
Was it
man
Paul?
quite- No.
I wasn't Paul. It was a different nice man.
It was a different nice man.
It wasn't
yes.
your man. Oh,
No,
my
I know.
goodness.
Well, he helped me with the other stuff, but obviously I flirted with him too.
Well,
you know.
that's all right then.
I'm not choosy.
Poor Paul.
I really hope he doesn't watch this. Oh dear, oh
lovely
dear.
Paul.
Anyway,
yeah,
let's go
look at
back.
this.
So what I'm going to do now is
Can't
I'm
go
going to
back in
take.
time and take it back, Sarah. You cannot.
We can take that out in the edit. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's only gone live. It's already out there, love.
So right sides together. All right, and then when you're pressing this, you might find it helpful to press it back this way because you can see your half square triangle, the point there. But actually, I've pressed mine to the darker side, and when I hold this in the machine, I'm going to be able to see that anyway.
Right.
So, because also if you fold it back that way, when you come to sew the sashing, you can't see the triangle from the other end. So you've got to pick one way.
Okay.
Right, so I'm just going to sew that with 1/4 inch.
I scare our delivery drivers with my over enthusiasm.
Oh, do you?
Well,
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm just taking a slug
No,
of coffee.
no, go for it. Because there was such a long time when stuff wasn't arriving with Brexit that then when stuff did start arriving,
Yes.
and they used to say, no, nobody else is ever that pleased to see us. Like, you have no idea.
Actually,
Give me the
my
boxes.
DPD man waves at me now.
Does he?
If I pass him in his van, he's like, hello!
Ours brings us curry when his wife's made too much.
Oh, that is good. That is
And
good.
I have to say, it is the nicest curry that I've ever tasted.
Well-
sadly, it was too spicy for the children, so we all had to eat it instead.
Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, the thing is, it's actually my DPD man, the one who delivers to my house. He's seen me in my pajamas more times than anyone else apart from Paul,
Yeah.
because they always come at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I think that's normal. I think that's normal. I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Yes. Bed hair and everything.
Yeah. They must see a few sights.
The thing is now, the DPD man, where I got my new unit, and it's so close to my house that
Is it the same DPD
it's
man?
the same DPD man, and sometimes he drops things off, or he goes to drop them off at my house, and he sees my car's not there, so he takes them to my unit instead.
I
he
love
sees-
that joined up thinking.
He's lovely, isn't he? So there we go. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press to the straight block. Okay, so I'm pressing to this one here and pressing that way. That's so that you don't end up with too much. If you press it this way, you're going to have a lump under where all of your blocks meet together. All right, it does just make it easier as well.
I just like it when people say that they press to the dark
Press to
side.
the dark side.
And that makes me happy.
And I am a Star Wars fan.
I know you are. I'm a Doctor Who fan.
Yes, I've been watching the because I've just got Disney Plus.
Oh,
I've been
have
watching
you?
the Star Wars again in order. in my sewing studio, because I can have a TV on in there.
Amazing.
So what I'm doing now is I'm taking those two pieces, I'm turning that right sides together, and because I've pressed that seam that way and that seam that way,
Oh, is it going to do that
they're
beautiful
going to do
nesting
that
thing?
lovely locking together. And then I'm just going to press those edges over.
So when we lived out your way,
Yes.
my husband organised his parents to come and babysit for our anniversary and ordered a lovely night out. There was a cinema that was quite a way away, where they had sort of tables that you could sit round and sofas and stuff.
Oh right, was that in Boston?
Oh, I don't know. I
Because
can't remember.
there's one like that over there.
Yeah,
called the Lux.
It was about an hour's drive anyway to get
Yeah.
to this place on lots of flat roads, and yeah, so I was thrilled that Stephen had organised this, only to go and see Star Wars.
Oh, you see, he'd be my top date.
I had not managed nearly 40 years on this planet without ever having watched a single Star Wars movie. And then I find out that this is our anniversary. I'm like, are you kidding me? And he's like, yes. And you're going to have to watch this one and this one and this one to understand what's going on. I'm like, what? What? Since when do dates come with homework? Like, this is awful. Absolutely awful. So next time I'm sending you instead. You can be my stunt double.
I'm sure he'd be thrilled. Oh, God.
Do you know, I think he'd just be pleased that somebody actually wanted to go.
You see, Paul doesn't like going to the cinema.
Well, there
when
you go. I'll
things
stay
first-
with Paul. You
Yeah.
go with Stephen.
When things first launch, he doesn't like going to the cinema because this is pre-COVID.
Well, there are
even.
people.
Too many people.
People
But
out
it
there.
means that I missed Rogue One at the cinema when it came out, and I was absolutely livid. I said, right, next time, if we don't go, I'm going without you.
Right, I'm really happy to go to the theatre with you because you are my theatre buddy, because
Yes,
Stephen doesn't like the theatre. So I think it's fair that we share you. I'll do the theatre with you. Stephen can do Star Wars with you. And on those nights that you're Star Warsing it with Stephen, Paul and I will go for a Thai curry.
I was going to say he loves a curry.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you go take
Perfect.
him for a coke.
That's fine.
That place we went to, oh goodness, that was years ago. Was that even here? Where did we go?
What, with Emily? Was it when Emily was just born?
I think yes.
Yes. When, in her Michael McIntyre / Jackie Chan phase.
Yes.
When she looked nothing like any child that I ever thought I would produce.
I was like, where did that come from? Where did all that black hair come from?
I don't know. because they're meant to look like their fathers, aren't they, when they come out? And Stephen just looked at me and went, I didn't know you knew Jackie Chan. And I was like, what? How very rude. But then she did look like Michael McIntyre.
Yes, well, I think a lot of babies look like Michael McIntyre, to be fair. He does have that sort of look.
Well, I don't know. It was the floppy black hair that she then had as well. And I'm like, oh. Karen says, a big shout out to all the posties and delivery people who have kept us sane and in business this last year.
Definitely.
Absolutely. But, you know, you get the good ones and we adore the good ones. We do adore the good, like your one that uses his noggin.
Yes,
yeah,
he's
and
lovely.
mine that brings curry. We do food swaps. This is when you know your delivery people far too well, when you do food swaps with them. It's like,
or when you wave to them and they're not even delivering to you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're like, we've got pizza boxes. We'll swap you some pizza boxes for some nice curry. Oh, now Julie's off to the beach. Why is everyone going to the beach and we're not? Hang on, got to go. We'll catch you later off to the beach with the dog.
Oh, I would love to. I really miss the sound of the sea. I want to go and sit on a pebbly beach and just listen to the sound of the waves breaking on the pebbles. Oh, dear, oh dear.
Oh, hang on. Elizabeth thinks your blade is open or something. Is the blade open?
Sorry?
Elizabeth's worried that you've left the blade open or something.
Thank you.
Eagle eyes, I hadn't noticed.
Oh, no, I hadn't either. Oh, I keep pressing that button. It makes me jump.
Hang on. Who's storing what at mine or John's? Hang on. What's going on? You know when you just catch a comment and you're like,
yes, it's like, where did that come from?
Hang on, what's going on? Oh, Claire says, if I can, I go to the cinema mostly on my own. That's because you're a mother and actually just sometimes...
Just being alone.
Yeah. In any dark room is a bonus.
Yes. Yes, I have friends with children who say a toilet door is a challenge to children. A shut toilet door.
Yeah, well, for years, I don't... It's probably far too much information. I don't think I've peed alone for over 15 years because before it was my spaniel.
Oh, I was going to say, what's Stephen been up to?
No, he's happy to leave me alone. That's fine. No, it was my spaniel. It was Arthur. He in full spaniel fashion, just always wanted to be with me. Anywhere.
See, Paul and I have been together for 15 years now, and we've never shared a bathroom, and I'm quite happy with that.
I think that's a perfect solution.
He has the ensuite wherever we are. He has the ensuite, and I have the main bathroom. Whichever house we lived in.
That is the way to a happy.
Means if I want to leave wet towels on the floor, because it is generally me, because he's a bit of a neat freak. If I want to leave my wet towels on the floor or an empty toothpaste on the side, I can, because it's my bathroom. And I've got the bath. I've got a shower. We've both got showers in our bathrooms, but mine's got the bath. And occasionally he'll say, "Can I use your bathroom? I fancy a bath." I go, "Yes, of course you can, darling." But then I run upstairs and tidy it.
Frantically tidy before he comes in.
Otherwise it's, uh-oh, busted. But yes, it's good to have your own space. I'm missing a square.
Uh-oh.
I had one. There we go. Use that one. So that's going on the end there. So you can see we're slowly building up.
Oh, we've made Dawn's day.
Have
by
we?
The looks of it. Yeah, it was a lovely surprise. But by the sounds of her week, it probably made her week, actually, by the sounds of it. April says, loving the demo and the laughs. Fabric is lovely, and I am a Star Wars fan.
Yes.
Something I share with my 25-year-old son.
Oh, that's good. You see, for me, I was too young to see the first movie, Star Wars or A New Hope, but the second movie and the third movie, I think the second movie came out in about 84. And the third one came out in about 87.
Right.
So in 1984, I was 12. And it was my first time that I actually saw a female heroine who was, you know, a bit badass. Princess Leia, she rescued herself. You know,
she doesn't need men. I'll rescue myself. You've taken too long. You're late.
She did rescue. She rescued them in the first one. She said, you know, great rescue attempt. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? To Luke. And it was just great to see growing up a female character that wasn't just running around screaming, waiting to be rescued, because that's what they all were, weren't they?
Then, yeah.
The female characters that we grew up with.
Since then, we've had Moana. We've progressed.
Yes, we're all right.
We have. I love Moana. You see, that's more for me. Bit of Moana.
Brave
Something
as
I
well.
can sing along to. Watch with the kids. It's all good. And my mum as well. You see, my mum wouldn't cope with Star Wars, but she can cope with Moana.
I think the thing with Star Wars is people are put off by the fact that it's set in space. But actually it's a love story, it's a story of family, fathers and sons, it's a coming of age with Luke, it's about fighting for the oppressed, you know. Anyway, I'll stop talking about it now. Because Disney will be on the phone going,
So
you
every
just
now
looked,
and then,
the thing is I just looked in your eyes then and I thought, no, she's not following me. Just go, love story, what?
is now the time to tell you that I used to work as a scenic artist and we were licensed by Lucasfilm and could replicate all the Star Wars stuff. Is now the time to tell you that? Just throwing it out there.
I've got Star Wars fabric on my show on Sunday. I'm
there
very
you go.
excited about that. It arrived yesterday. I was like, oh, Star
And then
Wars.
the very first thing that we used to walk into was a TARDIS as soon as we walked into work.
Goodness me.
It would have been your idea of absolute
It would.
heaven.
How do I...
And it was absolutely lost on me. I like to throw these things in every now
Yes.
and then because Gemma will go, how did I not know that? Like, what did I say the other day? And she's like, how did I know? Oh, that was it. We were talking about one of the lead characters had died from Friday night dinner.
Oh, yes, the dad.
Yeah. And I went, oh, it's such a shame. He was such a nice guy. I always enjoyed working with him. And she looked at me, she went, what do you mean working with him? I was like, I did some of the dog work on Friday night. She's like, what do you mean you worked on Friday night dinner? How did I not know this? I'm like, well...
That's the interesting thing. You don't know what people's backgrounds are.
Yeah, but
You
Gemma's known me for 24 years. She's like,
Well,
when did I
yes.
miss that bit? I don't know.
There we go. Right, so I'm just coming up to finish the last 4.
Leslie has just watched all 9 over 3 evenings.
Ah, there you go.
That's a proper binge, that is.
I watched 1, 2 and 3. I watched, what day are we on now? I came home, it's Friday today, isn't it? See,
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, it's Friday. So Wednesday I watched 1 and half of 2. Yesterday I watched 2 and 3. And last night I watched 4. No, I didn't. I watched Rogue One, then I watched 4. Because Rogue One is the one where they get the Battlestar plans. You're looking blankly at me again.
Right, it's words. There are lots of words happening.
I have to tell you though,
really understand.
a few years ago, have you heard of Secret Cinema?
Yes.
A few years ago, they did a Star Wars one.
Did they?
Absolutely the best day of my life. I got to wear, I made myself a Jedi outfit. And the only thing that was disappointing was Paul wouldn't let me wear my outfit on the train. I was a galactic explorer called Bo Laram, because they give you a character and everything.
Amazing.
And we had to get changed in a pub, so we went into the toilets dressed as normal people.
And came out.
And it was the best day ever. And we got arrested by stormtroopers.
Oh,
had to be
not
rescued.
actually arrested.
No, not on that occasion. No, we got arrested by stormtroopers because one of the Rebel Alliance put the stolen plans in my sister-in-law's bag, and we were arrested and had to be rescued by Jedi, who did some mind tricks on the storm. It was they're really scary, those stormtroopers up front, because they're quite tall. You're giving me that look again.
No. I was just thinking I quite like it.
She gives me that look that says I love you, but you're odd.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Janet says, it's so lovely to see Sarah and a full demo. Thank you, Natasha, and your channel. It's my absolute pleasure. I don't know how it descended into Star Wars.
I don't know
everyone.
either anyway. But
look at this.
So here we go. This is our block. So
Whilst we've been chatting, magic has happened.
yes. So I've done my 4 patches. So the next thing I'm going to do is sew the sort of internal sashing.
Right.
Oh, gotta love a thread cutter.
Oh, of course.
And then the other one.
Now, see, Joanna says, we are a family of Star Wars fans. They're filming a new Star Wars spin-off locally to where I live at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
which one? Which one?
I don't know. I don't know. I remember being incredibly thrilled when I found out that pole dart was being filmed when we lived in Cornwall, a mile from my home. And I used to see them warming the horses up, just up and down the moor next to where I live.
Yep. Very exciting. I didn't actually watch.
I don't think anybody actually watched it.
Was it Aidan?
Yeah.
I just watched him take his shirt off a lot on YouTube.
I think that's all anybody did, to be fair. But yeah, no, I mean, but you know, and again, you know, managed to go on the set of that as well. That was all good. That was all good. Claire says that
she's just showing off. Just showing off.
Claire says she's a Potterhead.
Yes, and actually I've just watched all the Harry Potter, because you watch all these movies when they first come out, like the Harry Potter ones, and you forget in between. So a couple of months ago I watched them one after the other, one a night, and then you see so much that you've forgotten, because you forget when you watch them at cinema. Yeah. You forget in between. It's like Christmas, I asked my brothers to get me all the Marvel movies. So Paul and I sat down and watched, I think there's 17 of them, one after the other, but in the correct order.
Right.
And then there's so much more to the stories that you forget because you wait 2 years between each.
Yeah, before the next one comes out. Now, Julie says that she's never seen a Star Wars film, but Doctor Who,
oh, yes.
I've seen them all multiple times.
Oh, me too.
So as a small child, I remember hiding behind the sofa because of Daleks and stuff, and I've never really gotten over that.
Tom Baker was the one that... Tom Baker was just turning into Peter Davison when I started watching Doctor Who. But I have a TARDIS at home that's about this big, and I'm slowly getting Doctor Who signatures on my TARDIS, because I am one of those people who goes to, you know, Comic-Con and things like that. Paul won't let me dress up, but one day I will. But I've got Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, Peter Davison, and I've asked them all to sign my TARDIS. John Barrowman.
Not often. I'm sure what everybody gets asked.
Will you please sign my TARDIS?
All right, love, sign my TARDIS.
Yeah, and and Fraser Hines, who was Peter Davison's companion years ago, was in front of me in the queue at the cafe at one of these events, and I did kind of try and work out whether I was going to let a companion sign my TARDIS, and I decided not to.
Really?
So,
oh
but
my
John
God,
Barrowman,
you have standards.
Yeah, you know, I'd have to have a different thing for them to sign. But John Barrowman, I've had my photo taken. I've stalked him a little bit.
A little bit of gentle stalking.
Yes, and I had my photograph taken at one of these events with all of the Torchwood crew. And him and the guy who plays Yanto were having a bit of a joke. And I'm standing there and I've got one either side and they've got one hand on each of my buttocks. And it was the best day.
You have had quite a few best days.
It was a Torchwood day. It was like, so the picture of me is going... They probably find themselves on a list now, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
Right, so...
Heidi says, oh my gosh, watching a sewing demo and talking Star Wars. What more could a girl want?
You see, this is the problem when you're on TV with your friend, because you forget and you tell everyone stuff you really shouldn't.
And that's why people watch.
Oh dear. So these I have pressed...
Oh yeah, back to the sewing.
Into my inner sashing. So this one I want to press out.
This is my fault because I happen to say the dark side, isn't it? I do realise that it's my fault.
Oh yes, that's how it started.
Yeah. John says, have you watched Leonardo on Amazon Prime?
Not yet.
Aidan Turner is the main character. So
yes,
handsome.
the polymath. Yes, that's definitely on my list.
I really need a lifestyle that includes watching some TV, don't I?
Well, I have it on in my sewing room on my laptop so that I can, because otherwise I don't watch TV. It's only sort of catch-up things because I just don't have time to commit.
Oh, okay. That's all right. I feel less bad then.
So, yes. Right, so there you go. You can see, and because it's a good idea to hold them up now to make sure that these match up, because
Right.
you can make adjustments at this point. If sort of one of them is like wildly out like that, you want to check your seam allowance. But I'm going to put that right size together here.
Now,
And rub
Sarah
them
says,
in.
enjoying the show. Well, hang on. I don't know if she's Sarah or Sarah. She doesn't have an H. In America, they spell Sarah without an H.
Yes.
And they don't have such a word as Sarah.
But then often they're Sarah over here, or they,
Yeah,
we.
that's yeah. So anyway, Sarah/Sarah says that she's enjoying the show, going through chemotherapy at the moment. Well, we hope that you are on the mend soon. So can't sew, but something to look forward to in the future. Really miss my sewing time. We are sending you lots of healing type things in your direction. And Karen says, oh, see now Poldark. Now you're talking my language. Yeah, Karen, Poldark. And okay, so I have a weird situation.
Okay, I love weird situations. Hit me with it.
What is, I've forgotten what it's called. What is the show at the moment on Netflix that all the ladies are going swoon over?
Bridgerton?
Yes.
Yes, I haven't seen that yet.
Right. Really slightly awkward that the main guy in there is the uncle to two of the kids at school. Really awkward, because you know, when you see the mum, you're like, oh, you know that every parent there has watched it because they've all said on the WhatsApp group, oh, he's your brother, and it's like, oh.
Can you imagine your brother's bottom on the television? Really, it's just.
I mean, it's and so much more.
It must just be.
Yeah. So, you know, but she still tells us when he does like the BBC bedtime stories. Because clearly we all need that.
Right.
Elizabeth says, oh yes, I would have liked a bit of Poldark. I mean, watching it, of course. Do you know what? I have loved Poldark since I was about 7, and they did the original one. And actually, the original Poldark is in the new series.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the judge in it. But I read, as a teenager, I read all the books. And so then, when we moved to Cornwall, can you imagine my delight when it's like I know this. It's like
I know this landscape.
I know this. Yeah.
There we go.
And then they didn't film half of it in Cornwall. They filmed some of it. Like every time you see them galloping along the cliffs, they filmed that bit there. And Poldark's house was there, but the posh house was up in Bath. Bath and Bristol.
My brother was born in Bath, and I was born in Bristol.
Oh, okay.
My other brother was born in Shepton Mallet, so we're all Somerset kids.
Shepton Mallet. There's a good name.
Shepton Mallet, a name to conjure with. And years ago, weirdly, this is probably a bit of a weird aside, but
Robin Ellis. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Claire.
when I was a student at university, I took 10 weeks off during the summer, and I went backpacking around Israel and Egypt, as you do. And I ended up in
a kibbutz?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
No, we freewheeled it.
Did you?
We did. Yes, me and my friend, my friend Suzanne. We got into. If a child of mine ever said they were going to do some of the stuff that I've done, I would nail one of their feet to the floor. Because in hindsight, probably not the best plan, you know. But it was dangerous time. Well, it's dangerous times now, isn't it? So yeah, we decided it was in I think about 1993, 94. And I ended up on top of a hotel in Luxor by the pool.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody, and it turned out this lady, her name was Nana Wells. I remember it like it's yesterday. So this is like 30 years ago. And she said, "Oh, I grew up in Shepton Mallet." And because I think she said something about my accent, she picked up a little lilt. And she said, "I grew up in Shepton Mallet." It turned out that her brother was my uncle's best friend at school. No. And we just met. She was in her late 60s, and we met up there. And while we were talking, on the other sun lounger on the other side, this guy went, "I don't mean to interrupt," he said, "but I did my prison warder training at Shepton Mallet Prison." And I was like, I've come halfway across the world to meet people who live in my hometown.
It's nuts, isn't it?
It is.
Absolutely nuts.
And you think coincidences don't exist, but the thing is, I've met so many people in my life, but I do remember these two, Martin and Nana Wells, because
Nana Wells.
So there we go. There's our finished block.
Yay, beautiful. So just repeat.
And repeat 9 times.
Yay! Or more, because you could buy a couple of blocks and make a massive one.
Yes. So what we've got here is these are all the other pieces. So as I said, in the instructions, I'm just telling you to cut one of each. All right. So all of these instructions will be from the paw, cut this lot, the paw fabric, which I've called red, and then from the grey option, which is this one, cut these. But I've actually cut 2 lots at the same time because, might as well. If you're going to make the whole block. But then, you know, some people like to just make something like this and turn this into a cushion or a bag front, or do a row of them and turn them into table runners. And then all you're going to do is cut your sashing, which I have done the sashing at 2.5 inches wide.
Perfect.
And 14.5 inches long, and then sewed long ones. But again, you can change it. You could actually replace the second bit of sashing. Hang on, let me just show you here what I mean. So when we come to the diagram for sewing the sashing, here we go. So this is actually constructing it. So it's block, sashing, block, sashing, block. And then once you've done a row, you're doing long pieces at the top and the bottom.
Right.
All right. So, but you could actually do short pieces and replace this corner bit here and here with a small square, with another 2.5 inch square, if you've got enough fabric left over.
Okay.
Because we're also using it for the binding. So as you can see there, I've used I think 1 strip of the black, 1 extra strip of the black, and the rest of it is just pieced pieces together from the leftovers. So to do that, we are just taking pieces, and imagine this is 1 piece of your leftovers. I haven't got anything else cut, but we'll do. So these are 2 different fabrics. We go right sides together. We sew across there so that when we peel this back, we haven't got too much bulk. And you just keep adding until it's long enough, which I think is something, this 50 inches square, so I would say about 210 inches. That way will be enough.
Okay.
So I just kind of, I add it until it looks long enough.
Right.
And then if it's not, I just stop before I've sewn everything down and add a bit more on the end. And then with the quilting of this, you can go for your life with the quilting.
Yeah, how did you quilt it?
I've stitched in the ditch around the outside, around the outside of my blocks.
Round the outside, round the outside?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've got wadding that will allow me to do 10 to 12 inch gaps.
Yeah.
But I think I will probably go back, because there's nothing to stop you going back and adding quilting later.
That's not, is there? That's the nice thing about it.
I wouldn't bind a quilt that hasn't been quilted at all, but I could go back and maybe, I thought I might do a little bit of hand sewing just in the centre of the block. A little bit of sashiko maybe in white, pick up the dots.
Oh, nice.
Or I could you know, there's so much that you can do, but it's a busy pattern. The fabric's busy, so I didn't really want to do some full-on.
There's no need.
Extra quilting, free motion quilting, because I felt it would get lost.
Yeah.
I like to do a lot. I love free motion quilting, and I do that a lot on the plain. So if I've got a white on white, I will quilt the heck out of that with free motion swirls and love hearts and things like that, because I just like them, and I find that I enjoy doing them. I like to play, but I don't tend to do that on busy patterns, because it's like a double whammy then.
Yeah, they fight against each other.
They do, and then they cancel each other out.
Gemma has given us a public service announcement.
Okay.
We've just had more stock arrive of the big packs of machine needles that sold out super quick earlier on in the week. Yeah, so we had Gary, you know, lovely Gary DeBrick from Duke.
Yeah.
We had him here the other week, and we were talking about how often you should change your needle.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And
They say after every project.
And I do, because I now have a pack of 100 needles. So it's not such a big deal.
Yes.
It's because I'm not like, oh, I've only got a couple left, I should save them in case I break one.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, it's 20 something quid for 100 needles. So I've got size 80s and I've got size 90s. So I've got 1 pack that is 80s that I use day to day, which is for me universal. But then on the other one it says universal, if in doubt use this one.
I use 80s
Which the 90s.
mostly.
Yeah. So, you know, they are my go-to. And Gary also did this thing where he checked that they would snap easily rather than bend. Because if you bend a needle and you're not and you don't realise that it's bent, it can damage your machine.
Yes.
So he's like, actually, what you want is a metal that will just snap cleanly, and then you have to replace your needle, and that's fine. So he did. I was like, oh, do you want to just try snapping that, Gary, just to, you know, make sure I've got the right ones? And he did, and it was great. So they are now back in stock with a different size
I
in
get to
there
go
as
home
well.
and snap mine now.
I know,
So
right?
I'm very
Tilly's
careful.
watching.
Sorry?
Hello, Tilly.
Hello. Good old
Oh.
Tilly Rose. Hello, Tilly.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you yonks. Actually, I haven't seen anyone for yonks.
No, I know. I haven't seen Tilly for an age, absolute age.
There are lots of people that we worked with that you meet again and again at shows, and we always catch up and go, hello, how you know. But there's been no shows. There's been no events.
Nope.
But
No.
lovely to see you, Tilly.
Albeit remotely. Sarah, thank you so much. Elizabeth says, Sarah, I am amazed at that bit of stitching the block and talking, and it's perfect. Wowzers. It's because she's used to watching me, who cannot do all these things and
Actually,
talk.
we've been talking about
Everything.
yes. There are occasions where you just think I probably shouldn't talk to people like they're my friends on air. No, actually, that sounded wrong. I shouldn't. Yeah, you are my friend, and I forget that we're actually because I was doing some stuff recently for Lizzie Curtis.
Oh, lovely.
And
Lizzie. Yes, I'm
yeah.
doing some stuff for her later on in the month. Yeah.
And she wanted to know some things about me that nobody else would know. I couldn't think of anything because I thought I'm on telly too often with people that I'm very friendly with, and we just gossip.
I think that's fair enough.
So
I think that's absolutely fair enough. Oh no, is she going to ask me the same?
oh, I don't know.
Oh, what can I say?
It was no good. She said, yeah, I've got cats. Yes, we know that. You know, and we were going, I said, what about this? She went, yeah, we know that. Oh, this? Yeah, we know that.
Damn it. I could pull out my I was once the international face of drains.
That. Oh, you see, you can't now.
Oh, damn it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people get L'Oreal. I get drainage.
Yeah, but you're my Shakespeare buddy, you know.
Yeah.
You could probably bring, no, we told people about that.
I love that was the photo that you shared. We just sat right in front of the sign that says do not picnic on the grass thinking, oh, this is nice. We're space to ourselves, having completely ignored and not seen the sign.
We didn't see it.
We didn't see it because we were sat in front of it, possibly on it.
We were having, so we got this lovely picnic before an open air, was it Tolthorpe? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was
like
the
that.
Tempest, wasn't it?
Yeah, we went to see the Tempest, and it was open air, and you have a picnic first, and there were people everywhere, and we just found this patch of grass and went, oh, this looks nice, and we settled down, and we were like, oh, it's nice to have all this space, and when we packed up to clear away, we'd actually put our bags over the sign that says, please keep off the grass.
I don't know. Nobody.
And we just wondered why people kept going.
Yeah, we were getting a look. We were getting a look.
We thought, oh, it must be because we're on telly. It's famous.
No,
It wasn't.
never do that. I remember John Scott doing that, and someone saying, "Oh, you look really familiar." He's like, "Oh, it must be off the telly." She's like, "Oh no, you work in the pop-up shop down the road." So never do that one. No.
Don't.
Heidi says, "Hi from Cyprus. Late today is trying to catch a poor dog." So Heidi fosters poorly dogs out in Cyprus.
Oh, right, okay.
And I've seen some of these poor little pups. I'm like, oh, it's heartbreaking.
It's like Angie and Scathos with the cats. I was like, she looks after all the cats in
Oh, does she?
yeah. I'm like, oh, the little
I
kitties.
can't work in places. I couldn't live in places like
my
that.
house would be full of cats and no Paul, because 2 he says is enough. We had 3 for a while, but I keep telling him that we need 3 because you know we just do. We need a ginger one.
Can I just
Like
share
Malcolm.
a very, very brief last story? I met my husband online back oh gosh, many years ago, when I don't think his parents even know that we met online, because it was when it was
a bit
quite
weird back then.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But there was nobody at work. I was training as an athlete, so I was teaching full time. I was then in the evenings training as an athlete, so I absolutely did not have time to go to pubs or meet anyone. There was nowhere at work or at the gym, so online it was. So it's like, do you realise if you had had one more cat, I would not have dated you. He said, you were one cat away from being a crazy cat lady.
Only one.
Clearly, I have made up for it since. It's fine. I was like,
How
fine.
many cats did you have at the time?
I only had 2. Because I'd fostered a whole load. So at one point I had 6. and then, but they were foster kittens and cats, so they went back and were then rehomed. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, a house full of kittens.
I know. It was beautiful. But yeah, one cat away from being a crazy cat lady. That's me. Yay! Joanna says, what a brilliant morning. Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure.
Actually, how long have we been going?
Who knows? Oh, see, there you go. John also met Andrew online. And that was not the usual way 14 years ago. No, it's not, but sometimes need must.
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
you just swipe one way or the other.
It's like you find that person one way or another.
Yeah, if it's meant to be.
Yeah. I worked with Paul.
Did you?
Yeah, we were friends for... Actually, we joke that we were dating for about 2 years before I noticed.
What do you mean before you noticed?
Well, we just used to go to do stuff and hang out, and I'd ring him up and say, "You doing anything this weekend? Fancy?" I had a little MX-5 back then, and I go, "Do you
I
fancy?"
loved my MX-5.
I love mine, Mark II, gorgeous thing. And I'd ring him up and say, "Do you fancy going to the seaside tomorrow or today? Or are you doing anything this afternoon? Do you want to go and watch some cricket in the village?" And that one went on for about 18 months before we actually went on a date, which was a bit of a shock, really, because I suddenly thought, oh my goodness, that's like, I had to think about what I was wearing, or, you know, about doing my hair, or... And we'd actually been going out every weekend for about a year and a half before. Weird.
Oh, you see, John said I was terrible at dating, though. Kept telling them they were morons and left the date before they were talking. The worst one that I had, the worst online date that I had, was some guy that kept telling me that he hired certain ladies of the night to clean his house. And at that point, I got ready to leave. And I remember him saying to me, "Oh, I'll walk you to the car because there are some weird people out there." And I just sort of looked at him thinking, "You are the weird one I'm trying to walk away from. Please don't follow me to the car park. I'm now quite scared." You know, the ups and downs.
Yeah, I did have a date once with a friend, a very good friend's brother, and I fell asleep halfway through the date. That's going to be, if I'm going to hell, I'm going to hell for that reason alone, that I fell asleep on this poor man. To be fair, I've always worked too hard.
And on that note...
Probably oversharing again, aren't we?
Oh, amazing. amazing. Oh, dear. Heidi says my worst one was a guy who wanted to take me to Greg's for lunch. Oh, gosh, all expense spared
I bet he
there.
wanted you to pay as well. Let's go Dutch.
Oh, Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's nice to get out the house.
we are here.
We won't leave it. We won't leave it a year.
No.
We won't leave it a year next time, because I've missed you, honey.
I've missed you too.
Yeah.
Damn this virusy thing.
I know. It'll be over and one day, and we'll get to go Shakespeare. What's our next Shakespeare? Have to find what's on next.
I don't know, but it will be at we'll go to the RSC and support them, because they've had a tough old time of it. They're going to need it. They're absolutely going to need it. And you know, because that's my mates. I still I can't walk through Stratford without knowing half the people from having worked there for so many years. So that'll be the one. And actually, one last shouldn't share story.
Is this the Carolyn Quintin one?
Oh no, it wasn't going to be. No.
Okay.
No. We'll save that for another night. No. I promised myself to never go to another pantomime again with the children, just to actually buy a nice ticket for the RSC. Just not because one year I took Freddie, and I took him, and my friend took her son. It was her daughter. And in the time that we came out, Freddie just looked at me and he said, "Mummy, I'm going to be sick in my pants." And I had to buy a whole new car seat. But whilst I was in there buying a whole new outfit and car seat for Freddie, who had been dreadfully ill, and his husband rang up and said, "So while you were gone, we were only gone for like 2 hours. Pantomimes are short." Mm-hmm. He'd managed to explode the microwave. So luckily, on the trading estate, the mother care was right next to curries. So she went for a new microwave. I went for a new car seat and complete new outfit for Freddie and stood him in the car park and dosed him down. And at that point I went, I'm just going to buy the most expensive tickets at the RSC and go with a friend. I'm not doing this
It's going to
again.
be cheaper.
It's going to be cheaper. We're not doing this again. And that was that. So... all good.
Goodness
right.
me.
Sarah, wave goodbye to all the lovely people.
Bye-bye. Thank you for having me. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for having me too. I've had a
Absolute
blast.
pleasure. Thank you. And for anybody who hasn't already got Sarah's fabric, it is at a fabulous price at www.natashamakes.com with a metre of black, which is incredibly useful. And if you want the pattern as well, you might just want the fabric. Go for that. If you want the pattern as well, that is separately. If you want extra of the fabric, then grab extra. That's why we don't put the pattern with it.
Yes, because a lot of people have already bought it when it launched,
Yeah.
but are desperate for the pattern. So I had lots of messages yesterday going, can we have the pattern just? And I went, yes, you can.
Yes, and we will not run out. It's all good. Thank you very much, everybody. On Monday, rather, because it's bank holiday, we have a Lisa Chandler interview. So all of our beautiful, I haven't shown you all the Lisa fabric yet.
I had a quick look.
Yeah, all that beautiful Lisa Chandler fabric. The lady behind it very graciously did an interview with me, which you can watch. And if you subscribe to Natasha Makes, then look out for your emails, because there's going to be some special stuff for you in your emails for anybody who happens to want to, you know, purchase anything on bank holiday, well, over the bank holiday weekend, to be fair. So if you don't subscribe, head to the website and subscribe, because that's where you will find all of these goodies, because I won't be live to tell you.
Yes.
Well, I will be live, but I won't be live on air to tell you. So, you know.
And if any, just quickly, if anybody does make, or when you make stuff and you post it on Facebook, please do tag me, Sarah Payne Quilter.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'd like to see what people are making.
Yes.
Because I hover over these pages as well. I love to watch what you guys are up to, and that is some rather. I've got to walk past that to leave.
I know. Sorry about that. Sorry / not sorry.
Got my card with me.
I got your car, your bigger car with your bigger boot. Right, everybody, we are going. Take care, lots of people, and I will see you on Tuesday. And April says thank you, great show, and thanks for the laughs as well.
Bye.
Bye.